I learned sometimes embracing your pain is the first step to healing from it. Stop expecting too much from people that have consistently given you less. Put all that energy into yourself and into those who reciprocate it or appreciate it. Stop stretching yourself so thin for people that would not even reach across a table for you.
Mentally, gotta keep up with me mentally.
What is good, GBO crew? Welcome to another episode of the TalkToMeNice podcast. I don't even know what number this is. It's somewhere in the title because I had to figure it out. But yeah, this is the TalkToMeNice podcast where I pick a topic, I ask you guys some questions, and we chop it up, just me and you. I don't even remember what my intro was supposed to be, so hopefully that is somewhat similar to what you guys have heard in the past. I asked you guys on Instagram what are some lessons that you've learned in 2020. I also have some personal ones as well that I'm going to share with you guys. But before we get into this video, I'm going to need you to click the links in my description box, and also please be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. No further ado, let's just get right into this topic. So 2020, let me make sure I'm recording, make sure everything's good. Okay, 2020 has been a year. It has been challenging. I think it has been draining emotionally, mentally, even spiritually at times. It has just been, I feel like 2020 you could think of as like a huge obstacle or as a obstacle course, because we had to overcome so many things, from politically to everything going on with this pandemic to socially. It's been a year of just learning and unlearning so many things, and I feel like it's definitely, now that we're near the end of the year, it's kind of like we made it. Like, honestly, if you made it this year and you were safe and primarily healthy for the most part, you kept a roof over your head, and like, you know, some of your loved ones and your family and friends were healthy too, like, that is a blessing. Like, y'all better give God some praise up in here. Just when I think about everything that has happened this year, not even just in my personal life, but just on a bigger scale outside of my little bubble, it's been really challenging, I think, for everybody. But hopefully you've been able to accomplish a lot of the goals that you wanted to, and you've been able to push forward. So I asked you guys on Instagram what are some lessons that you have learned in 2020. So I'm going to start off with one of my personal ones before we get into y'all's. So one of my 2020 lessons is that I learned sometimes embracing your pain is the first step to healing from it. And I don't want you guys to think that I learned this lesson overnight. Even now, I still have to remind myself, hey, take your time to feel sad, take your time to feel angry, take your time to feel whatever you need to feel, so that the next few moments you can move forward in a more positive headspace. Allowing myself to feel has been pivotal to my personal growth, taking the time to feel the negative emotions so I can spend more time figuring out how to move forward in a positive life. And I realized that even in the moments where I felt my weakest, it was preparing me to be my strongest. I used to think that the moments where I would have breakdowns, whether it be a mental breakdown or a physical one where I was just crying and things like that, I used to look at those moments as like, wow, I was really low, I was really weak. But then I started looking at them as not moments of weakness, but more of moments of growth, where I was finally coming to a point like, hey, I'm feeling this. It's not really positive right now, but I feel like it's imperative that I feel this right now so that I can take these next few moments or these next few days or weeks to start moving forward. I don't want to harp on this negative energy, and that's why I feel like it's important that you take the time to be angry, be sad, to mourn, to be upset, whatever it is. Embracing your negative emotions are just as important as embracing the positive ones. I feel like for a while there was kind of this like stigma or mantra like, oh no, be happy, smile all the time, blah blah blah, and it's just like, that's not realistic, because no one is Little Miss Sunshine all the time and is ready to smile like just every single second of the day. So, and I realized I've never been that person. I'm like, I can't sit here and smile every single day. Like, I have RBF also. I remember in school people used to be like, are you okay, like, are you mad? And I'm like, sis, it's just my face. But I've also learned too, I've always been a person, I never used to like to cry at all. And I realized, why is that? And I realized that I didn't like crying because it made me feel weak. And I thought, if I'm crying, then I'm not strong. But I've learned to embrace the moments where I think sometimes you just need to cry. Sometimes you need to cry, you need to scream, you need to let it all out in order so you can just move forward and do better. And one of the lessons that you guys told me that you had learned was to stop changing myself for other people. And that is a very hard lesson. And I feel like there are times where we do have to adapt to certain things, we have to adapt to new environments and new people. But it's important that the core value of who you are as a person doesn't change, and especially don't change for somebody else to make them like you, to make them be attracted to you. It's not worth it, because if they don't like you for who you are, you don't want them to fall in love with this version of you that's not even real, or you don't want them to take a liking to a version of yourself that you don't even know who it is. So it's always important to remain true to who you are, even when people may seem not to like certain things about you. At the end of the day, who's gonna rock with you, and who doesn't, I mean, it's their loss. You just gotta stay true to yourself and who you are as a person. Another personal lesson that I've also learned as well is stop expecting too much from people that have consistently given you less. I feel like a lot of times, especially when it comes to people that we love, we will give them the benefit of the doubt because we think, no, this person would not do this to me, they would not hurt me. I feel like it's very easy to cut off a stranger that has done something wrong to you, but I feel like, me personally, I have a hard time when it's time to look within my inner circle, look within the people that I choose to surround myself with, and when they do something that I don't like or that I've addressed and they do it again, it's kind of like, hey, if I hold everybody else to the same standard, I gotta hold the people closest to me the same way. So that goes for your friends, and that also goes for family, which is a tough pill to swallow. It's not easy to just sit up and just cut off everybody. Pour into people that pour into you. Do not drain yourself trying to give love or energy to people that do not deserve it, or just simply do not know how to reciprocate it. And it's also important to realize too, if you are a person that has a big heart like I am, and you love really hard, I understand that also, number one, everyone has different love languages and no one's is going to be the same as yours. So just because someone does not love you in the same capacity that you love them, or they don't show it in the way that you think they should, doesn't mean that they're not trying. So I feel like sometimes I expect everyone to love on the same level that I do, which is not possible because they're not me. I think everyone's love and the way they choose to show love is kind of unique in and of themselves. Everyone kind of has their own, everyone has like in general love languages, but I feel like everyone has that one thing that when people know you, they know that's your thing. That's how you show love. That's how you show appreciation. That's how you reciprocate, those types of things. And it was a lot to learn that, hey, I gotta stop expecting people to love like me, because it's just, they not built like me, you know what I'm saying? But not like, people are just not, don't expect people to love you the way you love you, exactly like to a T. Put all that energy into yourself and into those who reciprocate it or appreciate it. Stop stretching yourself so thin for people that would not even reach across a table for you. I feel like when you give people the benefit of the doubt, especially those you love and you care about, it's so easy to just keep stretching yourself thin and keep thinking, oh no, they're going to change. No, they're not going to do this again. And then they keep doing it. So stop. This is a warning. If you've been stretching yourself thin for somebody that you know does not care or does not choose to reciprocate or doesn't even appreciate what you do for them, let it go. There's no reason to drain yourself of all that energy, all that good and positive energy that you could be putting into yourself, into your passion, into your dreams. So if you're going to, douse somebody and drench them in love, let it be yourself and let it be the people that appreciate it. Pour into the people, once again, that pour into you. Invest in yourself and invest in others that know how to reciprocate love and show it in their own way. Another lesson that you guys told me you had learned this year is that even when things seem bad, you got to keep going. And you ain't never lied. I think there's been a lot of moments in 2020 where we're just like, can it get any worse? Can 2020 really do any more damage? And sis always came through once a month with just something more to just kind of kick us in the gut. And it's just like, how can we move past this? How can we move forward? How can I even think to be in a positive headspace right now when 2020 has just always got something for us? And But that's been a lesson. If you've made it through this year, you've made it this far in 2020 amidst all the things, not even thinking about what you got going on in your personal life. So when you think about that, you think about what we've been, just in this country, if you live in the US, or really anywhere, because, Corona, she ain't got no favor. She just for everybody. But if you just think in general with everything going on and then trying to balance out your own personal life and things you got going on, to keep going, and if you have kept going, has just been a blessing in and of itself to push forward and just keep doing what you know you got to do. And even if there were times where you gave up or you slacked off or you were lazy, you needed those moments too. I've realized as well that just because I'm not actively doing something, whether like if I'm not editing, if I'm not working out, if I'm not making music, I used to think like if I'm not doing any of those things, then like I'm being lazy. But sometimes, even when I'm just sitting here, watching something on Netflix, or I'm sitting here reading a book, or whatever, or I'm watching one of my favorite videos on YouTube, that's personal time. That's me time. Doesn't mean I'm being lazy. I used to equate, like, if I'm not putting the work into this, like this brand, into my music, then I'm not working. I'm being lazy. But that's not always the case, because I feel like it is necessary to take time for yourself and just breathe. So if you got knocked down a few times, hey, it's okay. We got back up, and through it all, look, you're here, you're watching this, you kept going, and that's what matters. The last lesson, oh girl, I'm getting emails. The last lesson that I learned in 2020 is start executing your ideas, plans, passions, etc., so you can prove to yourself what you're capable of. That has been a major lesson for me. If you've been living under a rock, I did release my first ever debut EP this year, and the whole process of making the EP, picking out the art, getting it mixed, all those things, getting leases for music, especially with the fact that I am one person, I don't have like this huge big team around me. I ask my best friend a lot for advice and for her opinion on things, and just so I can make sure I'm on the right path. But for the most part, I just do everything myself. I edit all my videos, I write all my music, I record it all at home. I recorded this entire EP that you guys hear, Remedial Education, I recorded it at home. So learning how to plan out and execute those things, and the fact that I was able to do it, I proved so much to myself. Like this EP, like you guys don't even know, has been in the works since like 2017. I've been working, I've scrapped and started over. I just wrote, and then I finally found 4 songs that really meant a lot to me, and I feel like we're an embodiment of where I've grown as a person over these last few years. And just executing that, and obviously, of course, I can't forget the growth on this channel with you guys. This whole year, I've proven so much to myself. You guys have been a part of that, because you listen to the music, you watch the videos, you share them with people, with your friends, and you guys have proven so much to me, and I feel like I've proven a lot to myself with the things I've been able to accomplish. And just realizing also as well, the only validation that you need comes from God himself or any other higher power that you believe in. He gave you the gifts, and it's up to you for how to use them. You don't need to look for other artists, other creatives, other influencers. You don't need a co-sign from anybody in order for you to know that you have the talent and that you have the ability to do what it is you need to do. You don't need that from anybody. You find that from within, and you move forward and you do what you got to do. Outdo yourself each time, because there is no other competition you need to worry about. Your only competitor is the one that you look at in the mirror every single day. That is the only person you need to be concerned about. Worry about you. Worry about always topping yourself and doing better than what you did last. Doing better on the next performance than you did the last one, or the next drop, the next release. Whatever it is, the next blog post, the next choreography, the next art piece, the next photography session, studio session, the next, hair appointment, whatever it is y'all be doing, because I know y'all be doing y'all thing. Whatever it is that you guys are doing, focus on you and just keep learning to just outdo yourself. And all those lessons, along with the ones that you guys have told me that you learned this year as well, have been major. And I just want to say to you guys once again, just thank you. This year has been so much fun. I feel like ever since I really started to see growth in the channel, I feel like every year is the most fun year, but 2020 despite it all, the ups and downs, taking hiatuses and all that stuff, man, you guys have made this year such a joy. I'm so thankful to have your support with really everything, with music, with the videos, the reviews, getting to interact with you guys and building this relationship with you guys, and just having the community that I have here has just been amazing. And I really hope you guys have enjoyed the 12 More Days series. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. You already know what's going up. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe whenever you do. Not forget to click that bell so that you get notified every single time I post. Remember, the GVO Music Awards premiere December 27th at 8 p.m. I cannot wait to see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time with another video.